Hi, this is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the Going in Raw podcast, because Joey Janela always goes in raw.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Going in Raw.
Hey everyone, Kenny Omega here. In case you didn't know, we have an awesome kick-butt show called Stephen Larson's Going in Raw, and they're going to be supporting AEW every week amongst many other things. Goodbye and smooch. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson, and available wherever podcasts can be found. If you're listening to us in the audio realm, leave us a rating, review, or a comment. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button. Let's try to get it up to 600 today, man. 600, the number of feet Cody fell off the top of that cage.
No, something else.
To clinch that victory over Wardlow.
That cage itself was pretty crazy.
That
was a huge cage.
Absolutely.
Basically hell in a cell with no roof.
Oh my goodness.
In terms of the size of it.
Yeah, so we're going live first with our AEW review. It seems to have caught the buzz bug, especially as of late.
It was also a better show this week.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it all depends on what you like. But yeah, I thought it was a really slam bang episode this week.
Yeah,
I thought it was really good.
I thought NXT was pretty flat in relation to what they've done in previous weeks.
I don't know. I feel like NXT has just sort of been doing the same thing without much going for it. But I don't know. We'll talk about that on our NXT review. There was some really good wrestling. There was a Jordan Devlin match was really good.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm not gonna crap on NXT, but yeah, no, AEW came in with a pretty darn good show.
Yeah,
including that, of course, that classic cage match. But man, I thought there was all sorts of
top
cool
to bottom. It was exceptional stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
even the match where the outcome was never really in doubt, the tag team title match, because we knew it was going to be, especially after the Young Bucks win that battle royal. You know, it's going to be Kenny and Hangman winning that match against Lucha Bros. But man, towards the end, it got pretty interesting. Yeah,
that doesn't even really bother me. Like, I thought that match was actually really, really good. I mean, like I mentioned this last week. I mean, it's rare that we don't really get a lot of matches like a takeover. I mean, you know who's gonna win the majority of those matches.
Yeah.
That doesn't really suck the drama. What bothers me, and I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, is when a team like Best Friends come in, and it's like, these guys need a win. It was Best Friends versus SCU.
Yeah.
And those matches I can't stand because I'm like, okay, well, I know who's going to win this. But it's not just I know who's going to win this. It's there isn't going to be any drama because they're not even going to make the Best Friends look all that great, you know? At least with this.
I mean, I think when you get teams, like all the tag teams are really good in AEW, but the point is, like, even if I know who's going to win, they can book a match in a way that can put a scintilla of doubt in my mind that my idea of who I think is going to win is actually going to pan out. Even if it's just like a 2% little thing. Even if it's just one spot where you're like, oh, crap, against 99% of the other teams, that would have finished them off.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I'm talking about.
Yeah. I think that my thing is I always give, like, the Lucha Brothers, for example, the benefit of the doubt with this stuff. If they're in a match, just because I know it's going to be a highly creative match. And the finish, I know, is going to be dizzying. And that's what this was. It was a fairly dizzying finish. I loved it. I loved that finish so much. Really good. And it's like, I know, if you know you're going to get that in advance as opposed to a paint-by-numbers match, like, yeah, I know that Hangman and Kenny are going to win. Doesn't really bother me. I thought that was terrific. But, yeah, no, it was a really good show from top to bottom. It's funny because, like, the big thing that was sort of hyped up from last week, I mean, I know they were hyping up the cage match and everything, but Moxley versus Cobb was kind of a big deal, and that's kind of like an afterthought in this episode.
Yeah,
like, it really didn't.
I kind of felt like the one minor misstep, and this minor is the finish of that match. I thought there could have been ways to do it to make it a little more interesting than just roll up and have a superplex.
Yeah, sure. It was definitely out of nowhere. That's for sure.
Like, you know, I don't know. I thought a couple things this morning I don't know if it was really worth getting into. It's just it happened. I was like, oh, that really? That's it?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a fun match. I like Jeff Cobb a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily mind that he loses, but like if he's tasked with softening up Mox more so than getting the win, there's a way for Moxley to exploit that to get the win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Whether it's meets DQ or having Cobb so intent on just lumping him up that Mox gets some sort of advantageous win that way, where the case may be.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, just hit a superplex on you.
Yeah.
Like, and then you roll him up right out of a superplex.
Yeah, I know. Like the rules of selling various moves in general in wrestling are all over the map. I mean, it's when people were clowning the Canadian Destroyer for being a transitional move or being, just like not even a signature, like a standard move. And it's like, come on, man. Like that move really should be a lot. So like, the selling for a variety of moves is just all over the map. That's just sort of something you got to take with wrestling in this day and age. Any event, I thought it was a killer episode. Let's go ahead and kick things off though with this tag team battle royal.
I like how Justin Roberts introduced the match from the stage, and all the participating teams were ringside.
Yeah.
And when the bell rang, most of them, not all, most of them stormed the ring to start the match. It wasn't like they were already all in the ring just milling about waiting for the bell to ring. They all had to get in the ring with a level measure of intensity.
It was like a scramble.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then Dark Order, they're like, we'll wait. And XLAX, we'll wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, because they're smart.
Yeah,
strategic.
sound strategy.
Yeah.
Why? But like a face can't do that because they're supposed to go in there and fight from the beginning.
Yeah, I know.
It's sound strategy. It makes all the
there
sense.
was a hilarious argument between Meltzer and Brian Alvarez this morning on Wrestling with the Radio about the whole heel face thing. I like when they start chipping at each other.
What was the gist
Oh,
of
I
it?
don't know. Dave is trying to toe the company line of there's no baby faces or heels, and Brian Alvarez is like, I know every single person I know who is a baby face and a heel.
Yeah.
And then they were making a lot of fun over though. They were on the same page with this one. I think you and I are gonna be on the same page about how like pretty much everything the whole Velveteen Dream Roderick Strong thing is like Velveteen Dream is like basically pure heel in this. And Roderick Strong is like pure babyface. No, I'm going to fight this on my own. This guy literally has my wife's face on his DMBs
his front area.
and his back area, by the way.
Yeah.
And like, but Velveteen Dream is expected to be the
face. I guess in Dream's mind, he's justified in doing all that because the Undisputed Era threw him off on top of a trailer.
Yeah, like 6 months ago, exactly. And we're supposed to remember that. So I don't know. It's kind of funny. Like I get it, but anyways, no, this was a fun match.
Yeah, it was.
Lots of stuff going on.
I just wrote down all the eliminations with a couple of story beats here and there.
Good.
I can just run through them real quick. Jack Evans, he's first eliminated because he jumps off the top, gets caught by basically everybody else in the match.
Yeah.
And then dumped out of the ring.
I liked, so as opposed to when WWE does these tag matches, one guy is out and you're done. Your team is done.
So you got one guy who's like, oh, well, I guess I'm done.
There were two
out.
changes. One is the bigger one later on, the whole you win a cage match by exiting the cage. By God, I love that. I can't stand the logic of the cage match, escape the cage. Number one, there's whenever they try to manufacture the drama of a guy like, oh, he's hanging on the cage and somebody grabs him, it always just looks stupid.
Well, the issue is like if it's just simply you can win by escaping through the cage door, that makes sense because it's quicker. Whereas if you've been beat up and you expect that you're going to climb to the top of the cage, it doesn't make any sense.
I don't like the idea. Like a cage in general is meant to keep outside interference outside.
Yeah.
And keep
the competitors
inside.
Yeah.
So like escaping to me has always been so silly because it's like, shouldn't it just be both guys start bolting to the top of the cage and seeing who can get out first?
Well, it really should be both people bolting for the door.
Or the door. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Way,
both people bolt for the door. And we've seen that sometimes. Like I think Kofi and Dolph did that in their match.
They did, yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, at least they're using some form of logic.
Yeah.
I really like the cage. It's not meant to be escaped. It's meant to keep the action in, and you have to confront the person you have a blood feud with.
I wonder if historically one of the reasons they used escaping the cage as a means of winning in the rule book was so no one had to take a pin.
Yeah, no, that could be. I mean, there's probably some pretty cool reasons why you do it. And I'm not saying there's never been. I'm not saying there's never been a good cage match where somebody has escaped by all means. But I just feel like lately, whenever they do it, it's just I don't know.
Well, yeah, the one in NXT
antiquated.
they did were what was it? Shanna and Io. Their cage match, was that the one in NXT?
I'm assuming Io came off the top.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
that sounds
how
right.
Shayna won. She escaped, and it was actually pretty dramatic because they were both at the door.
Yeah.
It can be done.
I think it can be done. I've seen it been done. It's just, to me, the general idea is silly. If I see a cage, I'm thinking cage fight. These guys are going to
It'd be something else if you win a UFC fight by jumping over the top of the cage.
Right? I know.
It'd be pretty cool.
Pretty
Anyways,
rad.
T-Hawk, he is next to be eliminated after a private party hit silly string on him. Dark Order finally get in the ring. They go after SCU. SCU drops him. And then the dude, not Evil Uno, but the dude in the commercials.
Yeah. Do we know his name?
No, starts talking. He's like, hey, thought SCU was all about brotherhood. Where's Chris Daniels at, huh?
Yeah, ooh, where is he? And then he says, the Exalted One is near. And then everybody starts tweeting out pictures of Raven just sitting there in his jeans and Tommy Bahama shirt.
Oh, it was great.
I just wish he had some popcorn. How great would it be if the Exalted One is casual Raven?
I know.
He's just sitting around. Yeah. All right. Welcome to the Dark Order meeting.
Yeah.
He always had Kermit the Frog voice.
Kind of did. And so Dark Order, they toss SCU out. Young Bucks then super kick. It wasn't Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. It was Alex Reynolds and John Silver in the match.
Yeah, correct.
They are representing Dark Order.
Yeah.
So the Young Bucks super kick them out. Scorpio Sky is upset, so he hits a flying cross body to where the Dark Order contingent was sitting in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome because Arian's brawling with either Silver or Reynolds.
I like that the dude with the microphone, whatever his name is, the mouthpiece, I guess.
Yeah.
He didn't really miss the beat. He was just like, oh, that's happening. Okay.
Yeah, because he flew right past him and Evil Uno.
Yeah.
He didn't take Evil
Uno is he was showing a little bit of emotion. The microphone guy was just like, okay,
all right,
I got to maintain my mystique.
Yep. XLAX finally get in there. Around the same time, Luchasaurus kicks Shima off the apron. He's eliminated. So he's wandering ringside, and Evil Uno extends a mask to him.
Mm-hmm.
He takes it and looks around, looks at mask, and then wanders up through the crowd to make his leave.
Yeah.
Nick Jackson goes on a tear, but then he's eliminated by the Butcher.
The Butcher.
XLAX eliminate Private Party, Jurassic Express.
Yeah, there was a lot of cool sort of stuff with Private Party going on too. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, there was. Jurassic Express eliminates Angelico. And then XLAX eliminates Jungle Boy with some help from Sammy Guevara.
Yeah.
He grabbed Jungle Boy's ankle, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Butcher Blade and XLAX teaming up to eliminate Luchasaurus. They all just gang up on him and dump him out.
Yeah.
So then Butcher and the Blade and Best Friends, they're all brawling ringside. None of them have been eliminated yet. They all end up on the floor. Best Friends back in the ring about to hug. And then the Butcher tosses Chuck out. And then Orange Cassidy helps Trent stave off elimination.
That was very clever.
It was clever.
It was cool.
Matt and Trent, they team up to eliminate the Blade. And then they continue their partnership to lay out the Butcher and XLAX. And they hug.
Mm-hmm.
Trent's brawling with... I can't remember who's brawling with on the apron. Cassidy's... Oh, Butcher. And Cassidy comes over to help Trent again.
He's waiting to catch him in case he falls, but then the bunny comes over.
Well, at first Trent looks like he's safe. So
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy puts his hands in his pockets.
Yeah. And then the bunny comes over, gives him a ball shot, and he collapses. And right after that, Trent comes falling
eliminated.
off.
Yeah, Trent's
so
eliminated.
he couldn't save him.
Yep. Matt spears Butcher off the apron, but since he didn't go over the top rope, he himself is not eliminated.
Yeah,
Butcher is, however.
that was cool. Commentary JR sort of flubbed that one, but it was, which kind of bummed me out because it was actually a really clever spot, and it made all the sense in the world. Matt goes through the second rope,
Yeah.
so he's not eliminated, but the Butcher had already gone over. He is eliminated.
Yeah.
That was very clever.
That was good. So the last three in are Matt Jackson, Santana, and Ortiz.
Yeah.
XLAX hit Street Sweeper on Matt. Their finish. Toss him over the top. He lands on the apron, not on floor. Then there's a sequence where it looked like Ortiz is on the apron. Matt sends Santana into him, super kicks Ortiz out. Sammy comes jumping off the top rope.
Yeah.
Matt super kicks him. Hell of a sell by Sammy.
Straight to hell, too.
Yeah.
Because, oh, my God, he just, like, crumbled. It was like the
good.
Shelton Benjamin.
Super kick from Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
That was good. And then he tosses Santana out. He's the last one in the ring. Young Bucks win. They will be getting title shot. Nick runs back out, celebrate with his brother. We get a shot of Kenny and Hangman watching backstage.
Mm-hmm. Again, not terribly surprising the Young Bucks won. However, towards the finish of this match, they really had me believing, man, So, like, I know Matt's probably going to have this sort of superhero victory.
It takes a little bit of it, but a little bit of doubt is all it takes.
And also on top of that, LAX, it's like, okay, I could totally see that being a thing going into Revolution. But no, the Young Bucks won. Kenny and Paige, like you said, were watching backstage the TV. Paige looked very serious, and Kenny was like, oh, okay, cool, friendly competition for these tag titles.
I did like how, we'll get to it later on, how things played out at the end of the tag title match, however.
Okay, all right.
I did like a little something that happened there with Kenny.
Okay.
Good character work. Subtle. Wasn't huge, but I felt like it meant a lot. Quick shot of Cody and Brandy arriving at the arena with Pharaoh. Short drive from their home in Atlanta.
Yep.
To the arena.
Yep.
Maybe not. Traffic, from what I understand, is really bad in Atlanta. Maybe it took them 2
Probably.
hours.
Yeah.
Next, Shanna. Hadn't seen her in a while. It's great to see her because she's really good.
Been a while.
In a bout against Chris Statlander, against someone we hadn't seen on Dynamite for a number of weeks.
Britt Baker was on commentary.
She brought Tony a coffee.
And it was like the cup had his face on it.
Rather than Starbucks, yeah. And I like how Tony was written incorrectly.
Yeah.
T-O-N-E-Y.
Yeah. Oh, that's good stuff.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And she was pretty good on commentary. She was going on and on about how Shanna was stalking her on Twitter.
Yeah, and then JR brings up Statlander being an alien. You know, what's up with this space galaxy
People were
thing?
like annoyed with that on Twitter. I thought that was actually pretty funny.
I thought this was one time. No, I agree with you. I think this is one time where JR seemed to be actually buying in and having fun and questioning it, but in a way that I think has been reflective of a lot of people's thoughts. You know, what is the deal with this?
Yeah.
And of course, Excalibur starts giving this lengthy explanation. He's like, all right, never mind.
He said, all right, that's enough.
And I really like when he asked Britt, when it came to Britt Baker, and she was like, I don't know, I have expertise in oral hygiene, not,
Space
astrophysics.
stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cute to be honest.
I think
with
it
you.
plays into the idea that he's kind of the grumpy old timer on the crew as well.
But I thought he was having fun with it. And come on, let's be honest, it's a super silly thing.
It is. Well, then they have that bop off towards the beginning of the match where they keep on bopping each other in the nose. And
yeah, go ahead.
And then they start pie-facing each other. And then JR went to a thing about cake. Says, I prefer cake.
He says, why does it always have to be called pie face? Why can't it be called a cake face? I love cake.
It's like Jerry Seinfeld. Like JR was his Banya.
Yeah.
And was writing a bit for him.
Yeah.
Why they call it Ovaltine?
I chuckled at that. I thought
too.
it was funny. The old man's having fun.
The lid is round. Man. The bottle is round.
Yeah.
They should call it round tea.
That's gold, Jerry.
It's gold, Jerry. Gold. So things get testy after the bop off and the pie faces. We come back from commercial. Statlander has the advantage until she goes up top. Shanna kicks her down, hits Tria well, double stomp, gets a 2. And then Shanna has the advantage for a bit, and then Statlander pretty much just picked her up, powered her up, and dropped her with her finish.
Yeah, it was a solid match.
It was solid. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Statlander's great. Shanna's really good.
Yeah.
And even they were having fun with the lower thirds, where I can't remember exactly what Shanna's nickname is, like the best athlete from Portugal or something like that.
Okay.
And then Statlander was the greatest, or Galaxy's greatest alien, or something like that.
Yeah.
So like their
yeah.
nicknames were kind of playing off each other. I thought that was good.
That's funny.
Next, we had Nyla Rose title win recap, followed by a really good interview with her.
I thought this was rad, man. She said, unbridled power.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So she comes out, and of course,
I break bitches.
That was good.
That was rad.
She gets a heel reaction, and she's like, this is how you greet me, your champion?
Yeah.
So you're all just a bunch of annoying bees buzzing.
Yeah.
And she says, winning this title was justice. I should have been the first champion. It should be my face in all the graphics and all the posters. But that not happening makes me hungry. When I get hungry,
I break bitches.
I break bitches. And then Tony's like, well, Riho did show a lot of courage. And I was like, no. Grabs a mic from him. It's like, courage? That wasn't courage. Right here, I represent power, unbridled power.
Unbridled power.
And says, I'm the queen bee of this hive.
Yeah.
Oh, it was really good.
That was really good.
It says she's going to be a one-time champion because no one could stack up to her. And no one is a beast like her.
Yeah.
This brings out Statlander. She bops the title.
Yeah.
And then Big Swole comes out, steps up to her, starts talking trash.
Yeah.
And they start yelling at each other.
I thought it was really cool, man.
It was awesome.
She said, I break bitches.
That was good.
And the unbridled. Like, she's almost doing, like, when she goes into that gruff voice, it's almost like McMahon, you know? It's good. I really like it.
Well, she's an unbridled power. I thought, was it?
The Emperor Palpatine.
In Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. Unlimited power. Yeah. No, that was good stuff.
It was great. Next, we had a brief recap of Jeff Cobb joining AEW and then his match against Jon Moxley. Taz was on commentary. Taz should be on commentary all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
It was great that he was there to do Cobb's match because stylistically there's a lot of similarities there in terms of how they wrestle. Suplex heavy stuff. Yeah. And it was just cool. There was that one bit ringside where Cobb was setting up for something that I barely even noticed. And Taz was going on about, he's setting him for some double underhook, something suplex, because he had his arms right there.
Yeah.
Man.
No, I know. He's really good.
Taz is so good.
I know. He should really be just on their commentary team.
He's like the AEW equivalent of Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah. You know,
in terms of knowing the technical aspects of wrestling moves down to the most minor of minutia.
So like you and I both really love Excalibur.
Yeah.
I wonder how much fun the commentary team would be if they move Excalibur to dark, which I don't want them to do because I love Excalibur. I think he's great. He's young. And you replace him with Taz. And Taz trying to be the one to corral JR and Tony.
Well, I thought because for this match it was Excalibur, Taz, and JR.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
JR didn't seem to wander off too much off topic.
And Tony's really good at the interview stuff.
Yeah, he is.
Like, make him just like the lead interview.
He is really good.
/ I don't know, whatever.
He could be the Mean Gene of AEW essentially because
totally.
they actually allow him to show some personality.
Yeah, they do.
And he's a character involved in the interview.
That is actually a really good comparison right there because that's one thing we always crow about with especially WWE. And it's like also, I don't know why Chris Van Vliet wasn't around that long with AEW. And then they had Jennifer Decker, was that her name?
Yeah, she popped up
She popped up a little bit, and they have somebody else now. I forget her name.
Yeah, I don't remember her name
either. But like again, they were just basically standing microphones. They didn't really allow a lot of the personality in it. And that's something that's missing so much from wrestling in general on TV is that you don't really get, like they do a little bit with NWA and Marquez, a little bit.
Yeah.
But man,
Tony's
that's
just
something
as much
that's
of
missing.
a focus. But
Tony could totally be a Mean Gene. You're absolutely right.
Well, I think all the stuff he's done with Britt showcases that.
Absolutely, for sure.
That segment where he and Cody are riding the limo,
was great.
And that story between the two was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good.
Stuff like that, it really works really well.
Yeah, it does.
Because it's doing this doesn't really give the subject of the interview a whole lot to play off of.
Right, exactly.
Whereas if Tony's reacting when Britt says, "Hey Tony, you were a shitty barista," and he looks away from the camera and goes,
"What the F?" Yeah, totally.
That really intensifies what Britt just said.
It does. And like Tony has so much history that like he can bring that vibe to it, that Mean Gene vibe. That's a good point.
So not only is Taz on commentary for this particular match, Mox comes out. He's rocking the FPOS rib tape.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that Adam Cole DDP rib tape.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Inner Circle, they come sit ringside near our good friendos Burl and Jess, who were in attendance last night.
That's right. Yeah,
send us pictures.
Burl. Yeah. Yeah, they had like the prime seats right there.
Yeah, right by Raven.
Right next to the Exalted One Raven with his popcorn.
Yeah, man.
Anyways, it was a good match. Talk about the finish, though. You had a problem with it.
Well, so the finish was Jeff Cobb hit superplex. So it wasn't exactly as if Jeff Cobb was working over Mox. He was having his way with him, so to say. That necessarily wasn't the case. Mox was getting his offense, and Cobb seemed to be more or less in control, but it wasn't a one-sided affair.
Yeah.
Far from it. So Cobb goes for Tour of the Islands. Mox escapes that. He tries for a paradigm shift. Cobb gets out of that, hits Mox with a huge European uppercut, follows with a superplex. And basically right on impact of the superplex, Mox gets his legs up in small cradles Jeff Cobb to get the win.
Yeah.
Now I kind of felt like...
What would you prefer, this or... I mean, the only other thing you really could do is a straight-up wonk where the Inner Circle just attacks.
Well, there's two things I thought of. It is a situation where Cobb is basically given everything he got, save for Tour of the Island, protect his finish, and Mox keeps getting up. And I'm sure Cobb's primary charge was not so much to beat Mox, but to soften him up. And so he's like, all right, well, apparently, trying to win the match by traditional means is enough. I'm just going to worry about beating the hell out of him. And you can do a thing where that can go two different ways. One, while it wouldn't be satisfying, it would make sense where Cobb just gets himself DQ'd. Like he'd be beating the hell out of Mox in the corner, ref steps in, Cobb's not listening to 5 count DQ. Or you do a situation where Cobb is so focused on just beating the hell out of Mox that Mox finds a lane and rolls him up that way. That would have made more sense to me rather than, Cobb just hits a superplex and Mox can just easily get his legs up and pin him.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe, I don't know what the situation would be or exactly, but Cobb's in a situation where he's, dropping all sorts of strikes on Mox, and he finds an opening, rolls him up super deep, escapes with a win.
Yeah.
So you make it clear the situation that Cobb is so focused on simply beating the hell out of Mox rather than winning the match that ends up costing him the match.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how much they want to try to keep, because on one hand you risk, if you give Cobb like a DQ loss because he's too busy beating the crap out of Mox, that might make Mox. I mean, there's the concern that you're making Mox look kind of weak there.
That's why I kind of feel like if it's a situation where Cobb's so focused that he loses sight of trying to stave off defeat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you really make that crystal clear.
Yeah.
That might have been, I don't know, because then you got Cobb looking strong, and it wasn't so much that he got beat on a physical level. He was just so single-minded in his mission that he ended up taking the loss.
And there's also the matter they're not entirely sure that Cobb is actually going to be around.
Yeah, I know.
So it's, I mean, I understand.
I'm just saying in terms of the story of the match.
The logic of the superplex, that's supposed to take a lot out of a person, and to have the wherewithal to just roll them up immediately. No, I feel you. I get what you're saying. I totally do. I think there's a different way they could have done it too.
So anyways, as soon as bell rings, Inner Circle, they hop over the barricade. But they were ticket buying fans, essentially. They should have been intercepted by security and escorted out of the building. I really want someone to do that.
Wait, who, the Inner Circle?
Yeah, they bought tickets. They were holding up tickets. They were sitting in seats.
Yeah, but with them, I kind of feel like them showing off the tickets is, I don't know. It's like it was never announced that they were like banned from the like Sammy Guevara was there at ringside.
No, I know, but they arrived. They arrived to that match as ticket buying patrons, and if they hop over that barricade, I feel like security should get in the way. I feel that across the board. I feel like that happens way too often where someone is a wrestler and they're like, "Oh, look, I bought a ticket. You can't do anything to me."
Yeah,
wrestler in the ring.
The thing that didn't make any sense was just SmackDown when Baron Corbin buys a ticket and he gets on the other side of the barricade and he just sits in an office chair.
Yeah, the Inner Circle, they set up chairs just for those seats.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense either. Like if they're gonna buy tickets, have them in real seats.
We made these tickets.
No, Jericho's saying I got a ticket. I bought a ticket. And the security dude checked
it. There's no ticket you can buy that they'll just set up a seat for you.
Apparently it's for Inner Circle.
Those tickets don't exist.
Security guard checked this ticket. And did you see that? When they walked by security looked at it and goes, okay. Nodded his head.
And he bought off everybody, man.
Those are purchase tickets. Once he hops over that barricade, he should be apprehended by security like anybody else.
No security's going to have the balls to take on Inner Circle. They're all going to quit.
Well, I mean, he's got to get a bunch of them. Anyway, so they're in the ring. They start beating down Mox. Outruns Dustin Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
He wants a piece of Jake Hager.
Yeah, man.
He's eventually overwhelmed by the numbers of the Inner Circle.
Yeah.
Lights go down. Lights come up. Darby Allin mills about on stage for a bit.
Oh, my gosh. That pop for Darby Allin was huge. Mm-hmm. He is, man, talk about maybe the person who... The biggest disparity between how they would be using WWE and how over they are in AEW.
Yeah, man.
That's got to be Darby Allin, right?
Yeah.
Well,
that's what he said. He's like, I don't want to go to WWE because I would have been lost in the shuffle.
It would have been, it's not even lost in the shuffle. He would have been buried beyond belief.
He'd be on 205 Live.
Yeah, like the weird now 205 Live when it's barely even on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be like in a tag team with, I don't know, Raul Mendoza or something. Even he's got a decent spot these days with Joaquin Wild.
I'm trying to think of someone else in 205 that could have. Oh, no, he'd be in a tag team with Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, exactly. But like the disparity right there, like, and he's so like organically, legitimately over the Lucha. What's that? The Lucha blog thing? Was it the Twitter account?
Yeah, Lucha blog. Yeah.
Made the comparison to Sting, which is an obvious one because of the face paint in the WCW, but it's so apropos. It's so true. Mm-hmm. Like he's AEW Sting now, you know?
So
he skateboards down.
Yeah.
And gets in there.
And uses it as a weapon. Yeah.
Yeah. And he starts taking everybody out. Takes everybody out except for Cobb. He doesn't notice giant Cobb there in the corner. Or maybe he just thinks, hey, he's a hired hand to go after Mox, not me.
Could be.
Cobb attacks him.
Tries for a German suplex. Darby flips out of it and nails Cobb with a skateboard. Pretty impressive. Does a full flip with a skateboard.
Yeah, it was rad.
And then Mox hits a paradigm shift on Cobb. So Jericho and Mox are the last two in the ring. They start hockey fighting.
Yeah.
Until Jericho just leaves. Mm-hmm. And then during the commercial picture-in-picture, Darby has the sign thing that Sammy's been doing over commercial breaks.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Good stuff. So next we had the Lucha Brothers taking on Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page for the AEW Tag Team titles. Really fun match. Second half especially was an absolute blast.
Oh, man. It was so great. The chemistry between
all four of these
guys
is incredible. So we go to commercial, we come back. Lucha Brothers are in control. Kenny's selling his leg, and that's something JR was actually selling for Kenny like early in the match, saying he had a Charlie horse or something.
Let me ask you something. I could be completely wrong about this. Did you notice this? Did Kenny airbrush his butt gray? I feel like there was something there. These were tights that I've seen before that had some sort of elaborate thing on the butt, on the behind, and it was all grayed out. And you can see some sort of like mech design or tech design coming from like under the cheek, and it seemed like fadeaway. You didn't notice that?
Maybe as a situation.
I didn't know if there was something like New Japan specific on it.
No, those are AEW tights. He didn't wear those in New Japan.
I don't know.
The only thing I think of, but I don't remember him ever doing this, is sometimes wrestlers will wear the pants, and then they'll wear trunks over the pants.
Yeah.
But I don't remember him ever doing that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't.
It was one of those weird things I just sort of paid attention to because I was looking at his ass.
So Kenny hits the Pentagon with the Tornado DDT. Page is tagged in. He starts taking the Pentagon Jr. And so Kenny and Page have that move where Kenny will toss someone to Page and he'll hit him with a German suplex. And I think he does that to Penta. So they try to do that to Ray Phoenix. Instead, Ray spins in midair and then hits Page with a cutter.
Yeah.
I about lost my stuff when that happened.
I know. It's
and
great.
then Penta flies in out of nowhere and hits Kenny with a destroyer.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
And it was like a full speed running. Oh man, it was so cool.
It was great. So Penta and Kenny are out brawling on the apron. Penta eats the V trigger, and then Phoenix does the walking on the ropes kick to Kenny, and then Penta tries for a package pile driver on the apron, which I think he actually did during their match at All In.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
and then Kenny fights it off, backdrops him. Ray Phoenix then comes flying in off the springboard off the ropes, runs Kenny to the floor, and then Page comes off the top, hits Ray Phoenix with the moonsault.
Yeah.
So Page and Kenny set up for the buckshot lariat with Kenny holding Phoenix. Phoenix moves, so Page nails Kenny. Phoenix sends Hangman from the ring, hits a corkscrew plancha on him. Penta hits Penta driver on Kenny, gets a 2. And
yeah.
You know, when you have the situation where a tag team, and it's happened several times with Kenny and Page, where it seems like they're not exactly on the same page, double team move goes wrong. You always think, this could be one of those situations where well, granted for them it's not necessarily a fluke thing, but fluke thing happens and they could lose because of some fluke thing. We still have one more week before Evolution. They can always get the belts back. And so Kenny kicks out. Lucha Brothers go for their finish. Kenny escapes that. He drops Penta with the Snapdragon. Phoenix jumps off the top ropes, does a 360, and then Kenny drops him with a V-trigger. Follows with the J-Driller, gets a 2 count, though. Kenny tries for a one-winged angel on Phoenix. He gets out of that. Page tags himself in, and the finish of this match was so quick,
so seamless,
yeah, within the flow of whatever was going on,
yeah,
and it felt like it was out of nowhere but perfectly set up,
yeah, because Phoenix like had the advantage for a split second. Kenny turns around on him as Page flips in for his lariat.
It was so good.
And they do the combo thing. It was beautiful. It was so beautiful.
So Kenny and Hangman retain, of course. The Young Bucks beat annoying.
Get out of here with that.
Young
Young Bucks.
So Page is kind of lingering in one corner. And the Young Bucks are in there helping Kenny up. And Page is like, this is my partner. So he comes and grabs Kenny's other arm and kind of pulls him up. And Kenny gets on his feet. And he kind of pulls his arm away from the Young Bucks, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And they didn't belabor the point.
Yeah.
It's just a little thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like the first time we seen Kenny annoyed with the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great.
Yeah, get back.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
And so Page, I think just he saw that, and he's like, all right, well, I'm going to go grab a beer. And so he leaves.
Yeah.
And so he takes a giant, large beer, someone in the crowd, downs it.
Yeah, and he was done with that, and he just started yelling at everybody, give me another one, give me another one.
Yeah.
He finds one with like a little bit in it. And
he didn't really drink that one, and he goes back up towards the crowd, and the guy has like a full,
yeah,
like an amber ale.
Yeah.
and he trades that one and leaves with that. I don't think he drank from it, but
Yeah. I kind of just want to see Hangman. I get what you're saying. It was a really good little moment. I just want to see Hangman lay those dudes out, though. I'm so tired of them. Get back, or if you're gonna come in, have your standard. Hey, we're the contenders. Jaw a little bit. Start the mind games. I mean, maybe that is part of their mind games, but I think there's just surface. It's just them liking Kenny and being happy for their friend,
but also being kind of oblivious that Hangman's kind of over their stuff.
Yeah.
Or if they aren't oblivious to it, they don't care.
They're not respectful of it,
which makes it
worse.
Which
is worse.
Which makes it way
worse.
Before we get to the main event, there is a really cool Cody MJF Wardlow video package. Wardlow comes out first for the cage match. The cage is huge. It's legit huge. It's basically Hell in a Cell without a roof.
Yeah, it's massive.
It's massive.
Yeah.
Wardlow comes out first. He's got explosions. Like a bomb test footage in his Videotron. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
And he's enormous.
Yeah, he's a huge guy.
He's enormous.
He's a big guy. Meltzer said he's 6'3", 265.
Yeah, that's what JR was saying.
Yeah, and in AEW that makes you 6'8", basically.
I know. I know. I mean, Cody's not a small dude either.
Right. Yeah.
He's probably 6'2", probably 225. Yeah. But just Wardlow's thick.
He's a big dude.
And Wardlow comported himself as well as to be expected.
I thought this was a wonderful debut for him.
Totally
I thought it was really good.
His character work was great. He was vicious.
Yeah.
He was tossing Cody around.
Very athletic. He can move really well.
Yeah, that Swanton looked great.
Yeah, this is a big moment. This is obviously the biggest match by far of his career.
Yeah.
To come in, no matches for how many months or whatever, and then have this main event in Atlanta against Cody, and then with that finish. So Cody got opened up pretty early in this match. There were some really creative uses of the cage as well.
I liked the cage because it's not like Hell in a Cell where there's 2.5 feet between
there was
the ring and where the cage
a
meets
foot,
the ground.
maybe?
Not even that, 8 inches.
And Cody ended up pancakes between the
and Wardlow
the
was smashing the cage against him.
That was good,
Great.
And then all the stuff on the outside with Arn and MJF
and
Brandy. Arn at one point threw the cage back at the door.
Well, it was
back
great because Cody gets tossed into the door by Wardlow, and so the door opens, and MJF comes over and says, "What are you gonna do, Arn? Do it." Slam his head with the door like he did his dad.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was really good, yeah.
And then the promo afterwards, he says something to Arn, it was in this town where you broke my dad's leg.
Yeah.
And he kind of shrugs it off, and it was funny. Nice little chuckle there. But yeah, that's all the stuff with MJF was great. It's cool to see Brandy back out.
I'm telling you, man, you got to admit that ring is damn validated. The Diamond Dozen ring.
Yeah.
They have done such a great job.
They utilize it for storyline and it has a purpose. My only thing is what's the purpose of it? I don't know what the purpose is.
Yeah.
Because you have an expensive ring on your finger. I don't care. Give me a reason for it. And they have a reason for it. It harkens back to Cody's Kiss the Ring thing in Ring of Honor.
It's a really great ring.
It's being used. I don't care if it's a great ring.
Yeah.
In terms of my wrestling programming, don't care.
Yeah.
They're using it in storyline, and it's a direct reference to Cody doing the Kiss the Ring thing in Ring of Honor.
Good looking ring, though. Solid looking ring.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'm not a jewelry guy. See? I'm married. I don't even wear my wedding ring.
I know, it's weird.
Because it's heavy. It's fucking heavy. Oh, sorry. It's really heavy.
Whoa, wow.
It's super heavy.
Inappropriate for language.
Yeah, I know. Monetize. It's really heavy.
I thought it was really terrific, and that came into play here as well.
I like how the Wardlow calls his finish the F10.
Yeah, that's cheesy.
It is like a super F5.
Yeah, but you don't want to reference that stuff, man. Live it. Be new. All right, be new. Do your own thing. That's what you want to do.
That was pretty great. I'll be honest with you. So as expected, Wardlow's jacked and huge, so he's tossing Cody around the ring, busts him open pretty quickly, toss him into the cage, powerbombing him to the cage, trapping between cage and ring, slamming cage on Cody.
Yeah.
Cody's getting that babyface heat, bleeding all over the place. And then, so I said, Wardlow slams Cody in the door. Door flies open. MJF approaches, tells Arn to hit Cody in the head like he did his daddy. Instead, Arn hits MJF with the door of the cage. We're back in the ring. Wardlow goes for a powerbomb. Cody escapes, hits a bunch of clotheslines, last of which finally drops Wardlow, tosses Wardlow in the cage, hits a power slam, gets a 2 count. So he goes up top. Cody does. Wardlow punches him, picks him up, military presses him, and tosses him to the cage. Wardlow up top hits a great looking swanton. Cody kicks out, and that's when MJF passes Wardlow the ring. Cody kicks Wardlow in the balls because Wardlow had done that to Cody earlier.
Yeah.
Takes the ring, and MJF's like, oh, hell, this is bad. He starts climbing up one of the pillars of the cage.
Yeah, Brandy then comes in, hits him with a chair. MJF gets down.
No-sells it.
He like throws the chair, and he's like balls up his fist. Arn comes in and tosses him over the barricade.
Yeah. So Cody punches Wardlow with the ring, hits Crossroad. Wardlow kicks out.
Yeah, he got hit with a ring and Crossroads.
I know,
and kicked
kicked
out of
out.
that. That's strong, man.
I know.
That's
and
super
then
strong.
Cody climbs to the top of the cage.
Doesn't wait a beat. He gets up there, and as if he's just anxious to do it, get it done.
Well, that's
Don't
what
think
he said
about
in
it.
his promo after the show. He says, you think I'm going to have this cage in my hometown and not jump off it? He was itching to do that.
So he was either itching to do it, either he was so excited to do it. Meltzer's take, it was so high he didn't want to think about it.
That could be. I wouldn't blame him.
Because that was a massive,
cage.
Yeah. And then Wardlow did what he could. According to Meltzer, it's supposed to be a crossbody. You know, he's supposed to basically take it all.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. Wardlow, I thought, and I don't know, and who knows? I don't know if you can, I don't know how, I'm not a wrestler. So I don't know how you can properly adjust for a guy falling that far down.
That fast.
But he broke the fall as much as he could, seemingly.
An arm, yeah.
With his arm, basically.
And Cody landed knees first.
Yeah.
Which probably still hurt, but I think he wears knee pads. Maybe. I hope he does.
Oh, God, I hope so. Yeah.
Because, goddamn, that looked like it hurt.
I know.
Because, so he jumps off. He does his flip early. And so, excuse me.
He's like starting to rotate a bit more.
Kind of. Yeah, because he lands knees first. But like for 2/3 of his fall, he's like belly flopping.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, Wardlow stuck an arm out and kind of broke the fall that way.
And if he has to, he has to eat something because that got the pin.
Yeah, that was the finish. Yeah, it was right into the finish.
Cody gets the pin.
Anyways, it was a great spot, dramatic as all hell.
Yeah.
Impactful.
Yeah.
And yeah, no hesitation. As soon as he gets that 2 count, all right. He looks up, it's like, all right, got to do this.
Yeah.
This is how I got to win this match.
Yeah.
Goes up, does it, and that's it.
He gets the pin. And then he goes back up to the top for like a celebration.
And it comes down, and after the show, the AEW posted the video on Twitter.
Yeah.
Delivers a great promo saying it was, I think he said 200 feet away on a street called Baker Street near, because I think where the Phillips Arena is now is where the Omni was, which is where like the Atlanta Hawks used to play throughout the 80s. And I guess I'm sure they had tons of huge wrestling shows. And he talks about how he was there with his dad, and he saw Sting walk out, back where like where the wrestlers would come and enter and exit the arena. And Sting came out and got a huge reception from the fans that were waiting there. And Cody's about to go out there, and his dad holds him back and says, hey, don't steal the man's pop. Mm-hmm. And so I guess they wait, Sting leaves, and then Dusty walks out. And Cody's like, I want to thank you for giving him a huge reaction. And he says, that was like the moment where I decided I want to be a wrestler. I didn't know what wrestling was, but I knew I wanted, and like seeing the reaction my dad got, I wanted that.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And talked about, growing up wrestling and so on and so forth, and said that, the fans were always hard on him, and he appreciated that because it made him get better. Mm-hmm. So it was really good. It's good promo.
Yeah, no, it was
Cody's
awesome.
fantastic.
It was great.
Fun match.
Like
hell of a show.
And almost crying and stuff.
Yeah, man, it was great.
It was really good. Good stuff.
Great stuff. Oh, we got a new channel member, Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Is that actually Tim Allen?
I don't know.
Noor Gangi says YouTube turning heel and been unsubscribed again. No, I don't. I did not see a notification for today's live stream.
Did you get a notification for yesterday's news brief?
I think I did. Did they unsub me? I think I did. Let me double check here.
All right.
Read some more super chats.
Joshua Martinez, love that pop for Darby. So glad for him. Yeah, man.
Love that Joker.
Yeah, man.
I know, it's awesome.
It's like, dude doesn't have to win a ton of matches, but thanks to his own charisma, thanks to being put in really good spots, win or lose, he's getting over.
Yeah, he's getting that mid-card title, by the way.
Nikyle.
Oh, let me ask you this real quick.
Uh-huh.
So, my thought right now, I'm pretty sure I know who's going to win all the other matches at Revolution. Mox is going to win. Bucks are probably going to win.
I don't know.
You think that's a toss-up?
Yeah.
Okay. Hager's going to win.
Yeah.
Darby Allin's got to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cody.
No, MJF has to win that match.
Cody's very so. My thought right now is last night was Cody's win.
Yeah,
that was his big thing. That being said, he's also very old school, and old school is the good guy gets beat up and beat up and beat up and beat up, and then he prevails in the end.
Yeah, but this isn't the end. Revolution is not the end.
You don't think that's the end of Cody MJF?
No.
I don't know.
No, I think this is going to be a story that's going to encompass years.
Well, they might go back around to it, but
Yeah,
they're not going to have a
it's
match
not gonna
every
be continuous,
pay-per-view.
but that's
yeah.
the thing is it's like Dusty and Ric Flair. That wasn't one
Yeah,
years
but
long
the
feud.
build to this has been so one-sided up until now anyways, with the lashes and the you can't touch me kind of stuff. And I mean MJF, he's been tossed in a pool and stuff like that. But I don't know. I that's more of a toss-up. I'm more confident in the Bucks winning than I am Cody MJF. I just don't know right now.
I just feel like in terms of I just feel like MJF will win, but he is going to cheat to win.
Yeah.
It's definitely not going to be a clean win.
Yeah.
Because I think right now it's all about getting max heat on MJF, and I don't think they've maxed that out yet. If it's literally a situation where Cody's on the verge of winning, and then something happens, MJF cheats, sneaks away with a win.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to think about it more. Curious to hear what the friendos think on that.
Nick Kyle, if AEW had a mid-card title, what would you name it?
If AEW had a mid-card title, what would you name it? I don't know. The Darby Allin Award? The award. I mean, NWA has a TV title. I don't really want a TV title. Cody said they're going to do something new.
Well, different. Yeah, different.
Something different.
He also said we expect the announcement on that when they announced the third hour.
Yeah.
So I didn't take that as those two things are going to be tied. But what if it is essentially like a dark title? We've joked about being in the main event of main event.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. If it was up to me, let's see. There's already a North American title, U.S. title.
We got an Intercontinental title.
I got nothing. My creative mind is coming up empty, man. What do you got for me?
Hospital. Lena Bliss says the figures guy. Also, why is Brandon getting one? Yeah, we didn't mention the little commercial.
Oh, man, there was a terrific...
The toys, AEW
Holy
toys.
crap.
They look phenomenal.
Did they take some stem cells out of Kenny for that face of his? It was literally...
Young Bucks ones were
dead
on, too.
Dead on. Just really good job with the action figures. And I like they had a little stop motion, little videos.
Great. Everything about that was great.
Cody with a sledgehammer doing this. Cody marking out when he saw it. He's such a nerd. It's great.
He marked out huge when he saw Brandy's too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And she seemed emotional about it.
Yeah. Kenny seemed like a little kid with his. So did the Bucks. Yeah, no, I thought it was terrific.
Jericho was like, that's pretty good. It's not his first rodeo when it comes to toys.
No, he's had plenty. Oh, yeah, you even got the boots on there. That's good.
Yeah.
Here you go. Gives it back to the guy.
I know. Jericho one looked great, too. They all look great.
He's like, here you go. Have you ever heard of Flat Earth Theory?
Oh, man.
Jericho needs to stop with that Flat Earth stuff.
Well, his latest one is like way worse. It was the coronavirus with the satanic government thing.
Oh, man. So, like, is there a fine line between Art Bell and Alex Jones?
Like the flat Earth stuff's ridiculous, but ultimately, I don't know. I feel like kind of harmless.
It's pretty harmless, yeah.
If that's
although apparently Cobb is a flat earther.
Oh, bummer.
I don't know. I read something online where it was an interview bit. Maybe it was completely fake. I don't know. I should not say that. I should not say that.
Like if that's the extent of your conspiracy theory thinking goes, all right. I mean, it's obviously not. The Earth is round. This goddamn sphere in space. We know this.
Yeah.
So, but
what do they think all the other planets are? Like, do they look at the obvious like shadow, like the shading of because you can literally get a telescope. I mean, hell, you can even look up and see the thing called the moon.
Yeah, it's right there. And there's a reason why it's not all like bright,
right,
the whole time.
Yeah.
It's the phases of the moon.
Yeah.
In fact, there's one day a new moon where you don't see it at all. Guess why? Because it's in the shadow of the Earth.
Right, exactly. But like you can look through a telescope yourself, and see like Jupiter or Mars or whatever. I don't know.
Or Venus.
Yeah, stuff like
Venus
that.
is the brightest one, I believe.
And you can see clearly.
Josh Martinez says Cobb said I'm willing to discuss flat Earth.
Yeah. Okay. So was that real? Was that actually real? So what the line that I got from him was something like, we're told all this stuff when we're kids, but I've never been up there and seen it. I don't know, man. I don't know how to tell these people.
I don't know either. But anyways, if that's the extent of your conspiracy theory talk, it's ridiculous. But whatever. It seems relatively harmless. Trying to say that there's potential epidemics.
So
that's been spawned by some shadow government.
Here's the benefit of the doubt, because even you were talking about how you saw like how the coronavirus is.
Oh yeah, like granted, you don't want to see anybody dying from any sort of disease
not.
whatsoever, but the way coronavirus has been portrayed, you'd think it was really deadly.
Yeah.
And I read a thing on CNN where it was like the fatality rate's 2%.
Yeah.
And like the flu is more likely to get you.
Yeah. Yeah. But so like maybe, benefit of the doubt, maybe Jericho understands that the coronavirus, as it's portrayed kind of in the media, is a bit overblown.
It could be.
And so he can joke about it a little bit.
Maybe, but there's joking about it, and there's...
If he starts going on an anti-vax thing, then I'll have a major problem.
Well, I mean, he's got a pretty significantly large platform.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to have a legitimate, serious discussion with a medical professional about the threat genuinely posed by, whatever, would be a virus or whatnot. That's a good conversation to have.
Yeah, sure.
To have some.
It's not as fun as talking about the satanic government, though.
But to have someone come and talk about some satanic government BS in relation to the coronavirus, whether it's super deadly or not, it is taking people's lives. That's serious business.
Yeah, sure.
And to trivialize it and to give a platform to people spewing their nonsense, even if it's just to hear them out, it's kind of irresponsible.
Yeah, I know, but I wonder if he's going so far with the ridiculousness of it
I
that
haven't
it
listened
really
to this particular episode. But
sure.
I haven't listened to this one, but I did listen to the one that was the dude on there about the reptilian government.
Yeah,
and I didn't get the sense that he was having them on there to make fun of him.
Even the idea that he's talking about reptilian government isn't inherently just.
I don't recall listening. I recall listening to that one being like, geez, man.
Yeah, okay. Really? About reptilian government?
Yeah.
I'll have to listen to that.
Yeah, do so.
All right. Anyways. More questions.
But, I've only read the description of that particular episode.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it, so, based on the description, the appearances aren't great.
Yeah.
But, yeah, reserve judgment until... fully until actually listening to it, because maybe it is a situation where he has people on and listens to him and is like, all right, well, here's whole 1 through a billion in the story of yours.
Yeah,
I didn't get that from the
I haven't gotten
government.
that he's doing that though.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten that he's doing that. I get the feeling that he's letting some of these people like actually speak to him. like he's all about flat Earth now. It's like he makes some really good points.
I mean, especially while the coronavirus thing is still going on.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to make light of that stuff.
No, you don't. Whether it's is poses as much of a danger as it's been potentially portrayed or not, it's still something to take seriously.
Yeah. Hafty in the Discord, what does it say about the talent level in AEW that Cody didn't look back on his cage spot before his jump off the top?
That's trust. That's a ton of trust.
I don't care where you are. You better be paying attention right now.
Yeah.
I'm about to jump off this thing. Let's see here. DJ Booty Dan says, my only issue with the show is that a lot of finisher spots were missed by camera angles. Do you think they're all still struggling to get production all straightened out? I did not have that issue with last night's show. And in fact, this one and last week's I thought were actually pretty well.
Yeah.
I haven't
can't
seen
think
any
of
issues.
any finished spots that were missed on either show.
I'd complain about it if I saw it. Let's see here. Jimmy Thomas. The other interviewer is Lexi Nair, who is DDP's daughter. I had heard they were bringing her in. I didn't know that was her.
I had no idea.
That's interesting.
Josh Martinez says Bo Dallas believes in stupid stuff like Sandy Hook being staged. Again, that's really irresponsible.
Oh, that's the worst. That's the way. I really hate people who think that Sandy Hook was staged. I hate people. I don't hate a lot of people, man, but if you think a bunch of kids dying is something to take light or to say that it was staged or they're actors.
The pain of parents who have lost children.
Seriously, you've already used this word. You can fuck right off. You can fuck right off with that because it pisses me off. Those poor little kids and those poor parents have to deal with this filth online saying that it was staged. You can fuck off with that. That gets my blood boiling.
That really makes me upset too.
Anyway, Steve Klain, if you're the head of recruitment, that being said, if you were the head of recruitment in the Dark Order, Larson, what would be your best recruitment strategy?
All the fringe benefits that Dark Order has to offer.
Oh, health benefits, man.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I'm talking about health benefits, workers' comp, all that kind of stuff. All the stuff that AEW that the word going around they're going to offer their talents. Heck, you're not just a member of the Dark Order. You're an employee.
Yeah.
You're an employee owner of the corporation.
Yeah, we're still we're looking at unionizing.
There you go.
Exactly. Let's see here. Tommy Cat. He says, I've been tough on AEW commentary. This is their best show to date. AEW is not afraid to evolve. I mean, look, man, we said that from before TV started, this is going to be a process, and they really seem to be getting whatever's going on backstage creatively. They're figuring out whatever roles are hey, this is some weaker spots. And here's the thing about that is that when things aren't working, look, everything in creative is somebody's idea.
Yeah.
And people have egos. And to say, hey, the Nightmare Collective isn't working. Whoever's idea that was Kenny's, Brandy's, whoever's.
Yeah.
Nightmare Collective isn't working. We're scrapping it. And they pulled the trigger on that like immediately.
Yeah, it was only a matter of weeks.
Yeah. And that's somebody's ego. Hey, man, I thought of that idea.
Yeah.
They got to deal with that, you know?
Brandy I don't know what the interview was. I saw on Twitter that she said, I promised that I wouldn't be at the forefront of the women's division, and maybe it was a situation where, I don't know.
Let's say, for example, and we don't know this stuff. We don't know. But let's say, for example, Kenny is the guy totally in charge of the women's division.
Yeah.
And he said, Brandy, I know you said that, but I think it'd be really strong if I had you at the head of this, women-centric faction.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool idea, and you're going to be a bad guy. And then it didn't work. I mean, that could potentially for people with bigger egos to say, no, we're going to ram this down their throats. This is going to work. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
They scrapped it.
Rather
they
than
move
realizing that it's not going to work, and it isn't working. Shaq 462 Darby Allin's the next Sabu. I don't feel like he's nearly as reckless as Sabu was.
I think he's
with his own body.
He's the next Sting. Ryan Armstrong here in chat makes a good point. Also, it was reported that Austin Aries was backstage at AEW.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Sean Ross Sapp said that he had heard from some of the talent that some people were a little uneasy about his mere presence, even though apparently he was just there to visit and shake some hands. But, one thing could always lead to another. So that's an interesting thing to keep an eye on.
Ryan Armstrong says he came to the arena with DDP.
Well, there you go. Oh, yeah, and that's right. He was espousing the virtue of DDP yoga, as everybody does. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I'm not, I've always been a fan of Austin Aries, but I also understand that he hasn't always been the most, the best influence backstage.
Yeah. That's the reputation.
That's the reputation. I'm not backstage. I don't know, but that's what we've heard from like many, many, many sources. Even himself. He said that himself.
Yeah.
So I mean, do I need to see him in AEW? I don't know. I think they got a good crew right now.
They do. They do. And you got to, anticipate.
That's a good. Sean Lindsay says Darby Allin's more like Jeff Hardy. That's a good.
Yeah. Brody Lee, potentially Brian Cage, coming in as well. And I'd much rather have AEW focus on those guys than Austin Aries, who's had a long, great career, but he's on the downside of that.
Yeah, sure.
Whereas Brody Lee, I kind of feel like, he's been around for a number of years, but I don't feel like there's a whole lot of tread in those tires,
Yeah, I agree.
There's a lot of unexplored potential there.
Yeah. Trick D asks, what would be worse? What would be worse? Mm-hmm. Drew getting jobbed out in a standard Brock match, 1F5.
Yeah.
At Mania, or AEW getting the new announce team of JR and Lawler.
Ladder.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Totally.
I think the first one might actually happen.
Yeah, the chance it'll happen.
I'm emotionally preparing myself for that.
Totally.
Doc Hensla. Let's see here. He has 2 questions. They're both good, so I'll read them both. AEW's first steel cage match was great. What other first type matches are y'all excited for in AEW? He says, is it wrong of me to want an awesome gauntlet match?
No, because gauntlet matches are usually awesome.
They're great, like Beat the Clock Challenge. It would also be great.
Yeah.
I don't know, but here's the thing. I really love that they tweak the rules to the cage match to fit the story. I mean, that's probably going to be the rule from now on for the steel cage. And I like that. I think, it's okay to make changes to tradition.
Totally.
To move forward.
I know Cody wants to do some sort of War Games type thing.
Yeah.
Match Beyond.
The Match Beyond.
So I'd like to see how they tweak it to kind of make it their own.
Doc Hensel also says it'll be almost 4 months or so since AEW's last pay-per-view when Revolution hits. Is 4 per year a good amount? Should they lessen it? I wish the Jericho Mox match would have happened already.
No, I think quarterly pay-per-views are perfect because I feel like it makes weekly TV more meaningful. Because last night, in a lot of ways, felt like, I don't know if you could have said it was basically pay-per-view light. With that main event, the cage match.
I agree.
The quality of matches across the board.
Yeah, I agree.
Storyline developments. It was like a wild card final.
Yeah.
And I think if you have more regular pay-per-views, it's going to potentially lessen the opportunities for TV to have matches of that quality.
This sort of speaks to what we were talking about a moment ago. Andrew Bates says, this is the best episode of AEW so far. Is Tony Khan being more involved, allegedly making things better, or has AEW finally found their identity and are thriving in it? I would suggest that...
it could be both. It could be a situation where, all the EVPs still have their say.
I think just generally speaking, the relationships have probably settled into a groove. Mm-hmm. People know their roles. People are getting comfortable, creatively speaking, with who's leading what, who has the final say. From what we've heard, it's been Tony Khan, and he's been more vocal with his own ideas. So it just seems like the relationships creatively backstage, people seem to be on the same page.
Yeah,
that translates to the TV.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Bobby Rivera has an interesting question. You guys think it's coincidence that Brody Lee / Luke Harper used those 2 last names because he was a fan of the book To Kill a Mockingbird, written by Harper Lee. Brody Lee, that's from, isn't that? Oh, it's Jason Lee and Brody, his character from Mallrats, mashed together.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And I'm guessing he had no say in what his name was in WWE.
That would be rad if he was a Harper Lee fan. That'd be something else if he was, You
really like To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yeah. Yeah. That was one with Boo Radley, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great wrestling name right there, Boo Radley.
That would be a good name.
Played him in the movie?
Yeah, Robert Duvall.
Yes.
Yeah.
For a second, I was going to say Richard Dreyfuss, but you're right. Robert Duvall. Dreyfuss. Nobody likes me.
You're thinking of
Jaws.
I would say Down and Out in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, there you go.
When homeless Nick Nolte falls into a swimming pool. Boy, that's an obscure reference.
Yeah, he also had one line. Dreyfuss had one line in The Graduate.
Yeah, I remember him in that.
Yeah. Let's see here. Last one here. Thomas Dunnigan. I love the idea of quarterly pay-per-views for AEW, but would you like the idea of midpoint specials on Dynamite like Bash at the Beach? Yeah, absolutely. Bring back, why didn't you get WWE uses the Clash of Champions. Do something like Clash of Champions.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's like you build to it, but it's just on TV. So,
well, I mean, like if you put some title
Bash at the Beach was great.
Yeah, Cody, I think, just said that he won't be using that again.
That's a bummer.
I think just because he said all but one of the trademarks he has, they probably won't use again because WB is being a jerk about it.
Oh, really?
That was the inference.
Well, you know what, man? It pays to be new.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. At 10:11. Oh, we did get. Okay, so I got a notification. I got an email notification, but I didn't get the pop-up notification on my phone. That's weird. Yeah. Anyways, 1 hour from now, we'll be going live. About 45 minutes from now.
Yeah, around noon.
We'll be going live with our NXT review.
Yes.
And we'll talk about the impossible that they're maybe talking about Ciampa versus Gargano. Loser leave town.
Maybe we have one more super chat here
Oh, cool.
From Maggie.
Maggie.
Yesterday was my first ever non-WB show. Holy cow, what a show. Besides the obvious, shout out to Luchasaurus. Super entertaining and super over.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's great.
He is great.
Yeah, that would have been a hell of a show to be at last night.
Heck yeah, man.
So, yeah, good stuff. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.